Chicago, Gary, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Dr. Savage, thank you for being the only conservative non-GOP hack on radio. I do want to commend you for doing that.
Well, now wait. I don't want to accept that, even though I'd like to believe it. There are many, many people, particularly on a local level in conservative radio, who know what's going on and are very conservative. Unfortunately, in the top 3 or 5, I would say there's only 2 people who are really conservative.
Dr. Savage, before I get to my point, can I ask you, do you believe in coincidences?
Well, that's too broad a question. What is the coincidence?
Well, here's the coincidence. I'm a numerologist and an astrologer by trade. I look at what's happening on Iran. They're going to do it on the 11th. I look at 9/11. It happened on the 11th. I look at what happened in Madrid, Spain. It happened on the 11th. There's a lot of coincidences in life, what people like to call coincidences, that I believe has to do with vibrational energy. Anytime it's the 11th, 29th on the month, 2 plus 9 equals 11, there's always big tragic events that happen. And I've looked throughout history, Mr. Savage. This is a parallel that I don't think anyone else is talking about.
All right. I'm not. So far, I haven't made a mockery of what you said. You said you're an astrologer. That's fine with me. Okay, I'm one of these people with a PhD in real science from a great university who also reads an astrologer's predictions on the internet. I enjoy doing both. I realize many religious people don't believe in divination, but that's their belief system. I have my own. I take from many different sources in order to get through this crazy world that we live in. So what do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
I believe that they're going to attempt to launch some kind of nuclear event. I think they're going to attempt to launch some kind of nuclear test. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not.
So you think that Iran already has a nuclear weapon and they've been faking it, and that the West, of course, is once again caught dumbfounded because of the idiots who run everything?
That's exactly what I believe. You know, Dr. Savage.
You say that they're going to. You say that you think they have the rocket capacity. We know that they have a rocket capable of reaching Europe. That we know, and of reaching Tel Aviv and Israel.
They have the test, and I think tomorrow they're going to say, we have the bomb, come try to get us. And I think their benefactors, Russia and China, are going to be supporting them through the UN Security Council. This could lead to World War III, Mr. Savage.
I can't even comment on that. But I want you to go back again to the spiraling of the 11th. Now, 9/11/2001, we all know what 9/11 was. Give us some other events that occurred on 11th. You said the bombing of the Spanish subways was on the 11th?
Yeah, let me go a little bit more into detail of 9/11 so people can understand this cannot be a coincidence. First of all, New York City was the 11th. New York was the 11th state in the Union. New York City has 11 letters in its name. The Twin Towers, looking side by side, look like an 11. The first plane that hit the World Trade Center was Flight 11. I mean, these things keep going.
Wow! On. Oh my God! Now, is this unique to your knowledge, or is this something on the internet that people are aware of?
I'm a numerologist. My name's Gary the Numbers. I do numerology.
Oh my God, that's amazing what you just said. I never saw that anywhere.
Now, to go a little bit deeper into the issue, if you look at what happened in Madrid, Spain on 3/11. Now, if you notice, 191 people died in that event. 1 plus 9 plus 1 equals 11. This is sacred knowledge. This is sacred knowledge the elite have been using, and they don't tell anyone about it. Because as you know, Dr. Savage, knowledge is the ultimate power. And they don't want
wait, hold on. You said knowledge is power. Now, I want to go back. You said you're a numerologist, not an astrologer. It's interesting to me that many gamblers, in a way, strangely enough, consider themselves, in a way, numerologists. They bet on numbers, don't they?
Well, yeah. Most gamblers are born in the 7th, 16th, or 25th, because 1 plus 6 equals 7, 2 plus 5 equals 7. They have.
Gary, do you do this for a living? I mean, do people pay you to run numbers on them and, predict?
Yes, I'm a local celebrity in my hometown city.
Well, you're going to become a major celebrity on this show. I'll tell you why, because I'm going to start to talk with you regularly. I want you to tell me what you think is happening. You actually think it's going to be that big tomorrow?
I think they're going to try to do something on that scale, because you have to understand this Hitler of our time, Ahmadinejad, this guy he might be the leader, but as we all know, he's a puppet to the mullahs. And yes. I believe they're the ones who told him to make this some tragic event happen. And, he's not going to go out there and say and nothing's going to happen, because for the simple fact he's going to lose credibility.
Well, so far I agree with you, but only tomorrow will tell, Gary. I mean, you're putting your whole reputation on line. What if he doesn't do anything dramatic tomorrow? Then what happens?
it's always the big events. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you look at a percentage basis, all of the big events happen with an 11. And let me explain how the 11 works. Either happens on the 11th, the 29th, because 2 plus 9 equals 11, or let's go to an event like Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City happened 4/19/1995. If you add all of them, 4 plus 1 plus 9, all the way to 1995, it adds up to 47. 4 plus 7 equals 11. So
you're the Nostradamus of numbers.
Well, I won't want to go that far, but
Gary, what if I give you my birthday? Can you do anything with those numbers?
You're born 3/31/1942. You are a 5 life path, meaning you're very open-minded. You have traveled a lot in your life, even though you probably don't do too much. You're a workaholic. Even when you can't do anything, you'll find something to do.
Yes, okay. Well, that's all true, but you can know that just from listening to my show. But what do the numbers tell you about the course of events for the future of my life?
This is going to be a good year right after your birthday, because that's when year cycles usually start. Right after your birthday hits, you're going to be in a 1-year cycle, meaning you're going to start going through new events in your life. Right now, you're pretty much, how can I put this? You're in the cycle of completion, which means you're pretty much tying up loose ends in your life. After your birthday hits, that's when the new events is going to start happening in your life. Another thing is, you're born in the year of the horse, 1954, which means you have a scientific mind.
No, I was born in 1942.
1942. Excuse me, that's still the year of the horse. I got my math wrong. 1942, which is still the year of the horse, and 2010 is the year of the tiger. And the tiger and the horse and dogs, people born in the year of the dog, those are the people that have the best, how can I put this, best vibrational energy together. That's why your favorite animal is the dog, because you're born in the year of the horse, and you despise rats, because rat is the opposite sign of the horse.
Okay. Well, what's interesting in what you just said is I said on the air the other day that I think 2010 is going to be a very good year for me because I've come through one of the most difficult years of my life, 2009, because of the British ban and other things that have happened to me. And I said I don't want to live like this anymore. It has to end. There must be something good because I've worked too hard to put up with any more of this kind of pressure on me. I don't deserve it. And I really do see things coming that I can't talk about for this year that are amazing. I have things on the horizon that are going to shock my listeners and the world. I mean, really good things. And I hope that they do come to pass. I don't know what to say.
Dr. Savage, I can assure you, you will have a good year right after your birthday. And the reason I know this is because of your birthday. I can assure you.
How long am I going to live?
I don't go into that, Dr. Savage. Come on now.
You see, it's funny because fortune tellers won't do that either. They'll never tell you the day of demise.
That is something that does not benefit you knowing. So why would I tell anyone like that? I want to show you something. I'm a man of science, but I also have a very strong mystical streak in me, and I always have all my life. You know from listening to this show that I spent a lot of time in very strange places working in folk medicine, working with folk healers in Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, the Marquesas, you name it. I've been to some of the most remote islands on Earth, and I visited some of the most, how shall I say, strange situations on Earth. I've also had 4 or 5 calls with death where somehow a hand saved me from death in my life, and there's no explanation for it. You remember the story I told about the cliff in Fiji? Were you listening at that time by any chance? Yes, I was, Dr. Savage.
I was on the edge of a cliff walking in the dark, and I didn't know that I was within 2 inches of falling several hundred feet to the bottom of a cliff. I had to get out of that bure at that night. We were drinking Yangona all night. I just had a call, get out of there, get out of there, get out of there. It's because I felt some dark spirits were going to enter my soul. And I said to my hosts, I have to leave. They said, you can't leave at this time of night. I said, I have to go back to my village. And I left, walked on my own on a moonlit night along a cliff path. The next day, my guide, Domenico, said, you have to come back and see where you just were last night. I was shocked because I was within 2 inches of the edge of a cliff where if I had misstepped, that would have been the end of it. I mean, there are other things, I told you before. I was once hit by a car, bounced in Queens. To this day, sometimes I joke, did I really die and is this all a dream? Nobody knows the answers to these questions, and they sound like a child talking. But you know and I know that there are mystical things that go on in the world for which there are no answers.
Well, I believe that elite hide these answers, Dr. Savage. Let me give you one example about liberals. A lot of people want to know why liberals are liberals. Well, let me give you an example. Barack Obama, born 8/4/1961, adds up to 29, 2 plus 9 equals 11. He is a Leo, and he's a liberal. I'm going to start giving you examples of how people to the left are always Leos. Bill Clinton, the last socialist president we had, born 8/19/1946, adds up to 38. 3 plus 8 equals 11. He was a Leo. He was a liberal. Let's look at the Leos around the world. Hugo Chavez, born 7/28. He's a Leo. He's a liberal. Fidel Castro, born 8/13. He's a Leo. He's a liberal. The modern socialist of modern day time, Napoleon. He was a Leo. He's a liberal. As you can see, Leo starts with the L. Liberal starts with the L. Now, I'm not saying every single Leo out there is a liberal, but a majority of them are. Just